Be me, 24, working at a small-town library shelving books. Live alone in a studio apartment above the bakery on Main Street. Daily routine, work, microwave dinner, watch anime, sleep. That feel when no girlfriend for 3 years straight, not even mad anymore, just accepted my fate as background character. One Tuesday morning, this girl walks into the library. She's probably 22, wearing an oversized cardigan and round glasses, carrying like 15 different notebooks and a thermos of tea, sits at the corner table every single day for 2 weeks, always working on what looks like poetry or journal entries. Catches me staring once and gives me the smallest smile. My face when I nearly drop an entire cart of books. Start timing my shelving routes to walk past her table. She always looks up and nods when I go by. Never says anything, but it becomes this weird daily ritual. One day she leaves her notebook open when she goes to the bathroom. I shouldn't look, but curiosity kills the cat. It's not poetry, it's letters addressed to someone named David. Dear David, the doctors say I have maybe 6 more months. I want to write down everything I remember about us before I forget. Heart drops into my stomach. She comes back and catches me reading. Expect her to be angry, but she just sits down calmly. You read the letter about David. Nod like an idiot because I can't form words. He was my fiancé. He died in a car accident last year. And I have early onset Alzheimer's, diagnosed 4 months ago. The way she says it so matter-of-factly breaks something inside me. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have looked. It's okay, I kind of hoped someone would eventually. She explains she's writing letters to remember everyone important. Family, friends, David, even her childhood dog. Memory is the only thing we really own, and mine's being stolen. Start talking every day after that. Her name is Emma, and she used to teach elementary school. Had to quit when the symptoms started affecting her work. Forget kids' names, lose track of lessons mid-sentence. Parents complained, and administration had to let her go. Spends her days at the library because it feels safe and quiet. Books don't judge you for reading the same page twice. Begin eating lunch together at her corner table. She brings homemade sandwiches, and I get chips from the vending machine. Tells me stories about her students, how creative and funny they were. Talks about David and their plans to travel after the wedding. We were going to see the northern lights in Iceland. Stupid to postpone happiness for someday, you know? That feel when you realize she's the most interesting person you've ever met, and she's slowly disappearing from the inside out. Start bringing her favorite tea from the coffee shop next door. Chamomile with honey, same order every day. She always acts surprised and grateful, like it's the first time. Sometimes it actually is the first. Time for her, my face when I realize she's forgetting our conversations. But she never forgets to smile when she sees me. 1 month in, she asks if I want to help with her letters. I'm starting to forget things about David and it scares me. Maybe if someone else helps write them down. Spend afternoons listening to her memories. David played guitar and wrote songs for her. They met in college during a Shakespeare class. He proposed during a snowstorm because she loves snow. Had brown hair, blue eyes, was about my height. Always wore this old leather jacket that smelled like coffee. Write down every detail exactly as she tells it. Sometimes she repeats the same story 3 times in one day. Each time I write it down like it's new, because for her, it is new. Start noticing the progression of her condition. Week 1, just forgot where she put her keys. Week 4, forgot my name twice in one conversation. Week 6, asked me who David was while writing him a letter. That feel when you watch someone lose themselves piece by piece. Her mom visits one afternoon while we're working. Elegant woman in her 50s, looks exhausted. Thank you for spending time with Emma. Not many people have the patience. Explains that Emma's dad couldn't handle the diagnosis, moved out 3 months ago, and hasn't called since. She asks about him sometimes. I don't know what to tell her. My face when I realize some people abandon ship when things get hard. December, her visits become less frequent. When she does come, she needs help with basic things. Remembering to eat lunch, finding the bathroom, staying focused. Her mom explains she's moving to a care facility after Christmas. She keeps asking for David, doesn't understand why he's not visiting. Emma's mom looks at me with desperate eyes. I know this is crazy, but would you consider visiting her as David? She doesn't remember what he looked like anymore, just that she loved him. The photos confuse her. She thinks they're strangers. Immediately want to say no because it feels wrong, but see the pain in her mother's face. She's dying asking for someone who can't come. Maybe you could give her some peace. That feel when you realize you're about to live someone else's love story. Spend the next week learning everything about David. His mannerisms, his favorite songs, how he held her hand. Her mom shows me videos on her phone. He had this laugh, kind of raspy from smoking in college. Always called her Sunshine because she brightened his mood. Practice his voice until I can almost match it. My face when I'm rehearsing another man's love. First visit to the care facility is David. Walk into her room wearing a brown leather jacket from Goodwill. She looks up from her bed and her entire face lights up. "David, you came to see me." Voice breaks saying it, but I manage, "Of course, Sunshine." She starts crying happy tears. "I was scared you forgot. About me." "Never, Emma. I could never forget you." Sit on her bed and she takes my hand. Her fingers trace mine like she's memorizing them. "Sing me the song you wrote, the one about the snow." Panic because I don't know any songs, make up something soft about snowflakes and her smile. She falls asleep holding my hand. That feel when you're giving someone else's fiancé comfort. Visit twice a week for 2 months. Each time she's more confused but always recognizes David. Tells me about dreams where we're getting married, about the house we're gonna buy with the blue shutters. "I can't wait to be your wife, David." My face when she says this with such pure love. No, I'm living in someone else's fantasy, but she's so happy. Her condition worsens and she starts forgetting I was just there. "David, where have you been? I missed you so much." Every visit feels like the first time to her. March arrives and she's barely responsive most days. Her mom calls one Tuesday evening. She's asking for David. I think this might be it. Rush to the facility still wearing my work clothes. Find her awake but struggling to breathe. "David, is that you?" "Yes, Sunshine, I'm here." She smiles and reaches for my face. "I love you so much. I'm sorry I'm sick." "You don't need to apologize for anything." She pulls me down and kisses me softly. First kiss of my life and it's not even mine. "Will you wait for me after I go to sleep?" "I'll wait as long as you need." She closes her eyes and squeezes my hand. "I love you, David." "I love you too, Emma." She passes away 20 minutes later, still holding my hand. That feel when you've lost someone who was never really yours. Her mom finds me crying in the hallway. Thank you for being David when she needed him. She died thinking she was loved. Funeral is small, just family and a few former students. Sit in the back because I don't belong with the real mourners. Her mom introduces me as the young man who helped with Emma's letters. Nobody knows about the David visits, that feel when you're grieving a relationship that never existed. Visit her grave every Tuesday after work. Bring chamomile tea and read her the children's books she loved. My face when I realize I'm still playing David, even after she's gone. Gravestone says, beloved daughter and fiancé. David's name is on there too. They're buried side by side. Sometimes I wonder if David would approve of what I did, giving her comfort with borrowed love. 6 months later, still visit every week. Tell her about my day, about the library, about nothing important. Learn that love doesn't have to be yours to be real. Learn that sometimes the greatest kindness is pretending. My face when I understand I was never the main character, just a stand-in for someone who couldn't return. But maybe that's enough. Maybe being a placeholder for love is still love. That feel when you've lived someone else's happy ending. And somehow it feels like the most honest thing you've ever done. Currently reading David's old journals that her mom gave me. Want to understand the man I pretended to be. Want to know if I did his memory justice. Some stories don't have clean endings. Just the quiet weight of carrying someone else's love until there's no one left to carry it for. Be me, 26, working night shift at a 24-hour diner in the middle of nowhere. Town has maybe 800 people. Everyone knows everyone's business. Live in a trailer park behind the gas station with my alcoholic stepdad. Mom died when I was 19. Been stuck here ever since taking care of him. That feel when your entire life fits in a double-wide trailer. Most excitement I get is when truckers stop for coffee at 3 a.m. Been doing this routine for 7 years straight. Wake up at 8 p.m., work until 6 a.m., sleep until 8 p.m. Repeat. My face when I realize I haven't seen sunlight in months. One cold November night, this girl walks in around 2 a.m. She's maybe 23, wearing scrubs and looks exhausted, orders black coffee and sits in the corner booth, different from the usual truckers and insomniacs. Has this sadness in her eyes that I recognize starts coming in every Tuesday and Friday night. Always orders the same thing, always sits alone, never makes conversation beyond thank you and have a good night. After 3 weeks, I finally ask what brings her out so late. I work at the county hospital, just finished a double shift. Her name is Claire, and she's a nurse in the ICU. Moved here 6 months ago from the city. Needed somewhere quiet to think. That feel when you meet someone else running from something. We start talking during her coffee breaks. She tells me about her patients, the ones who don't make it. Lost a 7-year-old last week, leukemia. His parents asked me to stay with him at the end. My face when I realize she carries other people's pain for a living. Claire has this way of making the worst stories sound gentle, like she's protecting the dignity of the dying even in conversation. Tells me she wanted to be a pediatric nurse since she was little. Kids trust you completely, they don't pretend everything's fine. Adults lie about their pain, children just tell you it hurts. Start looking forward to Tuesday and Friday nights. Prepare her coffee before she even walks in. She notices and gives me the first real smile I've seen from her. You're the only person who remembers how I like my coffee. December arrives and she starts staying longer, sometimes until 5 a.m. when the morning rush begins. Tells me about her childhood, growing up with a bipolar mother. Never knew which version of mom I'd come home to, the loving one who made cookies or the one who forgot to feed me. That feel when you realize everyone in this diner is broken somehow. One night she comes in crying, sits down, and can't stop shaking. We lost 3 patients tonight, 2 were under 10. Don't know what to say, so I just refill her coffee, sit across from her during the dead hours. I became a nurse to save people, but I mostly watch them die. And their families look at me like I failed them. My face when I understand she blames herself for things beyond her control. Start walking her to her car after her visits. Parking. Lot is sketchy, and she always seems fragile leaving. One night her car won't start in the freezing rain. Offer to drive her home in my beat-up Civic. She lives in a tiny apartment above the hardware store. Place is spotless but completely empty. No pictures, no personal items, nothing that makes it home. I don't really settle anywhere anymore. Easier to leave when there's nothing to pack. That feel when you recognize someone else who's given up on permanence. January brings the worst blizzard in 20 years. Roads are impassable. Hospital staff has to stay overnight. Claire doesn't show up Tuesday or Friday. Worry about her for the first time. Realize somewhere along the way she became important. When she finally comes in the next week, she looks different. Thinner, more tired, wearing long sleeves despite the heat. Notice bandages on her wrists when she reaches for sugar. My face when I understand what those bandages mean. Don't ask questions, but start paying closer attention. She talks about her patients differently now. Sometimes I wonder if they're the lucky ones. They get to stop fighting, stop pretending. Their pain ends, mine just keeps accumulating. That feel when someone you care about is disappearing from the inside. Begin staying after my shift to drive her home. Her car has been broken for 3 weeks. Suspect she's not fixing it on purpose. Too scared to go home alone to that empty apartment. Start bringing her leftover pie from the diner. You need to eat something besides coffee. She picks at it but never finishes. Food tastes like nothing lately. My face when I realize she's slowly starving herself. One night she asked me about my mom. Tell her about the cancer, the hospital visits, holding her hand at the end. Did she say anything before she died? Yeah, she said she was sorry for leaving me stuck here. Claire starts crying and won't stop. My mom said the same thing before her last manic episode. Jumped off the bridge downtown when I was 17. Left a note saying sorry for passing on her broken brain. That feel when you understand why someone carries so much guilt. February brings news that the hospital is cutting staff. Claire's hours get reduced. She can only afford part-time. Starts picking up shifts at the nursing home across town. Old people dying is somehow easier than children. They've lived their lives, had their chances. But she looks more exhausted every week, working 3 jobs just to pay rent on that empty apartment. My face when I realize she's working herself to death. Offer to let her crash at my trailer sometimes. Stepdad passed out drunk most nights anyway. She accepts because she can't afford heat in her apartment. Starts sleeping on my couch Tuesday and Friday nights. Wakes up screaming from nightmares about her patients. Always apologizes like it's her fault. Sorry, I dreamed about the baby we lost last month. Kept. Trying to save him, but my hands wouldn't work. That feel when you watch someone torture themselves with memories. March comes and she gets fired from the nursing home, caught giving her own prescription pain medication to a patient. He was suffering and they wouldn't increase his dosage. I couldn't watch him cry anymore. Now she's only working part-time at the hospital. Can't afford her apartment, officially moves into my trailer. Stepdad doesn't notice because he's too drunk to care, but having her there makes the place feel less empty. My face when I realize this is the closest I've been to happiness. April brings the final breaking point. Claire comes home from a pediatric shift completely destroyed. 5-year-old girl, same age as my sister would have been. Died calling for her mommy. I held her hand, but I'm not her mommy. Sits on the bathroom floor crying for hours. Find her there at 6 a.m., cutting lines on her arms. It's the only thing that makes the noise stop. The screaming in my head from all the children I couldn't save. That feel when you realize love isn't enough to save someone. Drive her to the emergency room. She gets admitted for a 72-hour psychiatric hold. Sit in the waiting room for 6 hours. Doctor tells me she's been taking antidepressants for years. She's been fighting this battle much longer than you've known her. My face when I understand she was already drowning when we met. Visit her every day during the visiting hours. She's heavily medicated and barely recognizes me. Who are you again? You look familiar. I'm the guy who makes your coffee. Oh, right, the sad boy from the diner. Even medicated, she can see right through me. That feel when you realize you're both broken people trying to fix each other. They release her after a week with new medications. She comes back to the trailer, but she's different. Talks in a flat monotone, sleeps 18 hours a day. The pills make everything feel far away, including the pain, but also everything else. My face when I realize the medication killed the person I loved. She stops coming to the diner during my shifts, gets a day job at a veterinary clinic putting animals to sleep. It's honest work. They want to die, I help them. No pretending they're going to get better. That feel when someone finds their calling and ending suffering. May arrives and she tells me she's leaving town. Got a job at an animal shelter in Oregon. Need to go somewhere where nobody knows my failures. Start over with a clean slate. Pack her few belongings in garbage bags. She never accumulated anything worth keeping. My face when I realize she's leaving and I can't stop her. Drive her to the Greyhound station on a Tuesday morning. Same day of the week she used to visit the diner. Thank you for the coffee and the couch. You're a good person. You deserve better than this place. So do you, but you're not ready to believe that. Yet, that feel when someone sees your potential and leaves anyway. Watch her bus disappear into the morning fog. Go back to the trailer and it feels emptier than before. Stepdad doesn't notice she's gone. Her coffee cup still sits in the sink. My face when I realize I never told her I loved her. Go back to working nights alone. The corner booth stays empty, Tuesday and Friday nights. Still make her coffee out of habit. End up drinking it myself at 4 a.m. That feel when muscle memory outlasts the person. Get a postcard from Oregon 3 months later. Picture of a dog on the front, no return address. The animals here die peacefully. Hope you find your peace too. Signed with just a C. My face when I realize this is probably goodbye forever. Keep the postcard taped to the coffee machine. Truckers ask about it sometimes. Friend of yours? Something like that. That feel when you can't explain what someone meant to you. 6 months later, still working the same night shift. Stepdad finally drank himself to death in October. Found him on the couch where Claire used to sleep. My face when I inherit a double-wide trailer and $30,000 in debt. Could finally leave this town but can't make myself go. What if she comes back and I'm not here? What if she needs coffee at 2 a.m. again? That feel when you're waiting for someone who's never coming back. Currently sitting in the empty diner at 3 a.m., making coffee for ghosts and memories. Learn that some people come into your life to show you what love feels like. Then leave to show you what loss feels like. Learn that saving someone and loving someone aren't the same thing. My face when I understand I was trying to save myself through her, and she was trying to save herself through strangers. Some stories don't end with healing, just with the quiet acceptance that broken people find each other, then break apart again when the weight becomes too much. That feel when you're grateful for temporary warmth, even when it leaves you colder than before. Still make her coffee every Tuesday and Friday night. Still wait for footsteps that will never come. Some love stories are just about learning how to let go before you even get to hold on. 2 years pass in the same routine, work, sleep, make coffee for empty booths, that feel when time moves but nothing changes. Then one Tuesday night at 2 a.m., the door chime rings. Look up, expecting another trucker. It's Claire standing in the doorway, older, grayer, wearing the same tired expression. Hey, coffee boy, still making the good stuff? My face when I can't tell if I'm dreaming. She sits in the same corner booth, order black coffee like nothing happened. Oregon didn't work out, animals die there too. Turns out you can't outrun your own head. Hands shake as I pour her coffee. Why did you come back? Because this is the only place I ever felt understood. Even when I was falling apart, you never tried to fix me. That feel when someone returns to their breaking point. We talk until sunrise like the old days, but something fundamental has changed. She's not running anymore, just existing. I'm not staying long, just passing through. Wanted to thank you for the coffee and the kindness. My face when I realize this is really goodbye. She leaves a $20 tip and walks toward the door. Claire, wait. What? I loved you, still do. She smiles sadly and nods. I know, that's why I had to leave. And that's why I had to come back and say goodbye properly. That feel when closure hurts worse than abandonment. Watch her disappear into the morning light again. This time I know she's never coming back. The coffee cup sits empty on the table. Some stories end twice.